Okay, folks, we are back. Leslie and I are back together again. It is time for the show. We are doing stats time, and this is going to be looking at May of 2025. What is happening for May of 2025? How are you, Les?
Oh, great. And it's June, question mark.
Right. Crazy.
How did that happen?
I don't, yeah, we're halfway through the year.
Yep.
We're going to talk a little bit about what we've been hearing on the streets as far as some agents and some buyers and sellers that we've been hearing out there, and talk to you about reality for the sense of what we've been experiencing, what these numbers are telling us, and then give you a little bit of an opinion in regards to maybe why certain things are happening, aren't happening, and all that kind of great stuff. So stay with us as we always
Cool.
like to stay on our channel, guys. Let the show begin because we're getting after it right about now. Like you said, we're looking at May 2025, even though we are in June. But let's talk to them. What are we seeing here, Les, in regards to these wonderful numbers that we go to?
Well, wow. So remember, we're only discussing single family residential units here. Just as a reminder, um, we sold 2,087 homes in May. That was a slight decrease from April
Yeah.
and a 13% drop from May of 2024.
Okay. And that is something we should even slow them down on in this sense because we really want people to understand this. Sold 2087, meaning we sold in April a little bit less than that 2087. We sold a little bit less than that number. Year over year, from last year of May 2024, we are minus, not up, we're going down in the amount of sales that we did from last year, 13.1%. That's a big number. 13% less than what we did the same time last year. So I know that people are hearing out there, inventory is building, inventory is building, inventory is building, but we have sold less properties. We're going to talk to you more about that. Keep going, Liz.
And if you wanted to look at the median price of those units sold was again 480. Um, since December of 2024, that number has remained fairly constant. We did have a little tiny bit of an uptake to 485 for like a month, but it's been median price 480. Now we can say for 6 months.
So we've stayed pretty steady there. So we haven't really gone up, we haven't really gone down in that sense of pricing. And I think that most people, if they see that we've been at that price for a while, I mean, I don't know what people would think about that, but I just believe we have so many people out there that thinks that our market is starting to crash because we are seeing some adjustments in some states for sure. We're seeing those adjustments in big areas. We're seeing them in Florida. We're seeing them in Texas. We're seeing them in all those bigger areas where they have come down on price and their inventory has gone crazy. We have colleagues in those states, different cities in those states that are talking about how insane their inventory is, where they truly have flipped into what is considered a buyer's market. But some of those areas, as we're actually starting to see less too. I mean, this is probably another topic, but still, we'll throw this out here. We're starting to see some of that insurance in those areas that are affecting some of the sales of those properties, like in Florida, of course, in California. California's sales numbers aren't dropping, or the inventory number isn't exploding, but their inventory or their insurance scenario is happening in that same way. And we started to see a little bit of that insurance issue or tug of war here in Nevada as well. So a little off topics, a little squirrel, but any thoughts on that?
Well, we're starting to hear some of that. Um, we've got insurance companies that don't like the age of a roof, and so they're making clients replace the roof.
Yeah.
We've had other properties where there's been some kind of minimal amount of water damage, wanting higher premiums. I'm sure due to the age of some of the properties. We're seeing buyers who, because these insurance premiums
And your
are,
backlash, but you were saying it's sort of the higher premiums on some of the insurance and those things that were happening as well.
yeah, because the buyers now are having higher insurance premiums, and the ones that are carrying a mortgage or qualifying for a mortgage may be having some debt to income ratio issues because of those higher premiums. And unfortunately, because some buyers, they don't have a lot of wiggle room on their numbers. So these numbers are throwing their ratios out, meaning because of that, they're not qualifying for loans.
Yeah. So a lot's going on in the market. A lot is going on in the market.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for indulging my squirrel moment there. Sorry. So we'll get
I
it
mean, it's stuff the people need to know, you know what I mean?
for sure. All right. All right. So we'll get us back to our numbers here. So we just talked
Okay.
about that median price on that 480,000 as far as that really staying there for about 6 months.
Yeah.
So keeping us there in that sense. And then moving on from there, Les, as far as giving them a few more input in regards to these numbers that we're seeing as well.
So we did see, 3591 new single family units come on the market in May, which is down just a tiny bit from April, -2%. However, it is growth from May of 2024, up 15%.
So there it is again, the amount of homes that are coming on the market were growing, but here it is again up at the top. We still aren't seeing that increase as far as what we sold. So it's a funny little market, so, to say the least, in regards to what's going on. More properties are coming on. Still haven't touched anything close to the pandemic levels. We're getting there, but we haven't touched the pandemic levels or pre-pandemic, I should say. But prices aren't necessarily, for some people, prices feel like they've shot through the roof, but they aren't necessarily escalating as much as most people think. As a lot of our sellers think prices are going up. Sellers here in Las Vegas, I believe, think that our pricing is higher than it is. And we'll talk about that a little bit more too, as well, Les. So we were just talking about in regards to that difference with what was happening years ago, Les, with not years ago, but last year in regards to our listings coming up a little bit more. But at the same time, we had that funky market where we have still not as many sales that are happening. Because I know a lot of people are out there going, well, BlackRock's buying up everything. These investors are buying up everything. And people can't afford these homes, blah, 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 blah. And I would think if all of that were true, all of this stuff that we have on the market would be sold. And it's not being sold, right?
Well, because 39% of the market still maybe needs to make some corrections.
Corrections in the sense of I understand what you're saying, but I want to make sure we're being
Yeah.
clear with everyone.
I'm trying to be nice. They need to adjust their price to where the market will allow the property to sell. So if
Right.
your property is not selling, there's only three reasons why. Historically, your property is not in good condition, you're in a bad location, um, and the only other reason a house doesn't sell is the price needs to be adjusted
Right.
down.
Yep. Or a combination of any of those three things, or all those three things.
Exactly.
The biggest thing you can really control is going to be condition of the property and the price of the property. Those are the things that you can definitely control. And we are still seeing, even with the NOJ, with the DOJ, the Department of Justice, and the NAR, with that lawsuit that happened a couple of years ago, we still are seeing a lot of our sellers still contributing to broker fees and all those
Yeah,
different types of things. We're seeing it across the board. So
yeah.
yes, we get that a lot of our sellers are still in the market and still in the mindset, at least here, not all across the nation. It's different in different areas, but most of our sellers are probably in that mindset that we believe that this is the market where we have a right to keep our properties up high and push for those numbers and all those kind of great things. Yet, like Les was saying, or we were alluding to here, we have on the bottom our days on market, Les. I mean, talk to us about that. That's craziness.
Well, in the first 30 days, 61% are selling.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I say 39% missed the mark on their price.
Yeah. And
The
that
other thing,
go
I'm
for
sorry, go ahead.
go for it, Les.
The other thing that I wanted to point out too is this, that we've got 3.2 months of available inventory. So historically, that means that we're in a balanced market.
We're starting to
So
balance.
this is really not, there's a perception that we're either in a buyer's market or we're either in a seller's market. This is a balanced market. We're not either. So
And what's great about that balanced market, Les, is this, and you and I both understand this. When buyers get involved in this market, and we trust us, guys, we understand this is a very tough time. People are concerned about this economy. People are concerned about what's happening with this economy. People are concerned about their health care. People are concerned about, wages and everything else. We get that 100%, 100%. We
yeah,
strongly believe this is a need to market. This is a market when you need to sell the property, when you need to purchase a property, you will get it done. People are still transacting. Those people that need to and really, really want to get it done are getting it done. This is not that market where you want to just check the market or check it and test it and play with it. If you get your number, you're going to be out there for a while. You're going to be out there.
yeah,
But and like Les was just saying, this is a balanced market. This is a market where we are still seeing our buyers come in and or checked it and tested and play with it. If you get your number, you're going to be out there for a while. You're going to be out there.
yeah,
But and like Les was just saying, this is a balanced market. This is a market where we are still seeing our buyers come in and sellers are working with their buyers. They're paying for commissions. They're paying
yeah,
for some of their down payments. The new homes, the new builders, they're definitely out there working with their buyers. Their inventory is growing like crazy because they're having more. And this isn't even on this report. I mean, as far as what's happening with our new,
no,
those numbers are not even on here. But those builders are out there working. They're sending. How many flyers do we get, Les, on?
we get a dozen a week.
Yeah, and that's a big number for us to get so many of those flyers of those new builders saying to us, listen, bring your people to us. We're willing to pay you this. We're willing to pay this towards your
Yeah,
clients' closings.
yeah,
All of those things are working for us. You want to reach out to us so that we can make sure we get you every possible incentive. Don't just go there because they're not going to tell you everything that you can possibly get there. Reach out to us. We'll make an appointment for you. We'll make it get you in there and make sure we get all those incentives and we represent you well so that you can really take advantage of this great market. I think it's a great time for the buyers to be out there. And if you're a seller, we've got to make sure we price you right. Les was talking about pricing the properties right. Les was talking about what's happening in regards to the sellers being out there longer. Only 30 to 39% of the market is still sitting out there. When we look at our MLS, our multiple listing service, meaning that here, no matter if you're with EXP, our company, if you're with another company, whatever professional company you're with, every professional out there is going to put their home here in the state in this area on our multiple listing service. We see just in the last 7 days, we have seen these new listings here. 1,210 new listings have come onto the market. But look at this other big number. 1,221 price adjustments or price decreases. That means people aren't at the right price. People are not getting their homes sold. Leslie said 39% are sitting out there. They're still taking a while for these properties to sell. When time is out there, we're spending too much time, we're losing you money. We don't want to do that. So we really want to make sure we come to the table in regards to pricing this correctly. Before I jump off this sheet here, Les, you want to say anything about this or give any input on in this regard?
well, yeah.
Okay.
What I do want to say is people still have a need to, people have a need to sell and they have a need to buy, and that's going to go on. If you're worried about getting into the marketplace, I would console you and say, we understand your concerns. However, you're not going to build any kind of an equity position if you don't get in at some point.
Yeah.
You need to jump in. It's okay. We're not going to let you sink. Um, and I would say when the dust settles in the next 3.5 years, um, hopefully things will be looking a little brighter.
Yeah, exactly. We will for sure. So there's some good news in here. There's good news in here that there's still opportunity. A lot of our feeder markets in the sense of where our people come from, where our buyers are coming from. Our new people are coming in from Las Vegas, are coming into Vegas. They're coming in from California. They're coming in from Arizona. They're coming in from Seattle. They're coming in from different parts of the world, China and everything else. They are still seeing our market as an opportunity because they feel as though it is still very affordable to them. Our definitely we are changing here. So in that sense, 480, it's still higher than when we started in the year because I think we started the year close to like 420 or so, Les. So we
Yeah,
definitely have grown as far as value is concerned with, and we've grown as far as pricing. And some other people would say that has, of course, pushed housing affordability to a higher level. I mean, it's tough for people to afford homes. But like Les just said, we hear it. But please understand that still real estate is one of the best ways for you to build wealth. If you have a way of combining your finances, working with someone else to buy the property, multiple, whatever it may be, reach out to us, talk to us about grants, see if there's grants out there. We can
yeah,
connect you to a lender and all those different types of things to see if there's grants that can get you in. We've got to get you in because you saving yourself to wealth, saving yourself to riches is not going to happen in that sense. You've got to make sure your money is working. I strongly believe that we've got to have your money working, and that's going to be something like real estate, something like the stock market, something like a business in yourself. Invest in yourself in that sense. Make sure you're putting that money to work and you're making sure it's growing. Real estate still is one of the top things that people are doing in regards to building it. Please reach out. We'd love to be of service. And before I jump off of this page, Les, I want to just take us back to our numbers here. If there's anything else we haven't necessarily adjust or talked to them about, I want to make sure we address that before we give them back their time.
um, no, there's really not. I just want to say that if you're saving for, that's great for a down payment and you have a plan for that. However, if you're saving and waiting for rates to come down or for prices to come down, that the numbers, they don't work out. You're going to be waiting substantially longer. And by the time you're done waiting, you can look back and say, now the interest rates are even higher. And so I didn't save at the rate to compensate for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, because the rates could be a hair lower, but I think you were saying there, Les, is that the prices could be a little bit higher. And since
Yeah,
you didn't see that growth in price, you didn't understand that growth in price while you were saving money,
yeah,
you've almost put yourself in the same exact place
yeah,
versus taking advantage of the deals now, taking advantage of the sellers contributing to thousands of dollars, the builders contributing thousands of dollars. So all of it, for sure. I agree with you 100% there. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, listen, reach out to us, guys. We'd love to be of service. We are moving real estate right now. I know there may be some people out there that don't believe this is a great time. Completely, they're right. Make sure you reach out to us as a professionals. We want to sit down with you, go over this information, and then you decide what's going to be best for you and your family, or for you, whomever it be, individually or your family. We'd love to be of service. We will see you guys in the next video. Take care.